Salaki, 1 second. I had to close the door and stuff. Salaki, Shalom, it's your brother Kasha Kwala coming back at you with another lesson. Giving all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Chakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone to rule and teach well. Peace, love, salutation to the elect 144 first fruit. And I mean it. All right. So today, I like to do swift lessons that you hit the point home and bring out the scriptures to do it. I'm going to name this lesson, it's just good for you. That's what I'm going to name the lesson. And what I mean, what is good for you is reproof, rebuke, admonishment. Well, let me say in order: admonishment, reproof, then rebuke. And then there is a particular order of it. Admonishment, of course, is an admonition, which means an advice. That's what it is. That's all it is. Whenever you hear a brother, if you come, hey, what do you think about this? And he gives you his thoughts about it, or what he may think you should do, or whatever. It's an advice. You don't have to take it if you don't want it. And then there are stern advice. That's when it becomes, whenever you hear someone, it would behoove you when someone says that. That's like a stern advice. Like, really, you should do it. You know what I'm saying? Really, you should do that. Just do it. Follow the spirit, So you have the admonishment part, getting the advice. Say you don't take the advice, and then, or when a brother behooves you to do something that's correct according to the scriptures, and you take another route. That's when reproof comes in, which reproof is a correction, all right? Meaning, okay, now you're going to get corrected on it. Okay, well, you didn't take the advice, which you should have done. Now do you see what I'm saying? So do it this way. Now you're being corrected. Boom. Okay, let's say you get corrected on it and you still fuck up on purpose, because since you've gotten the advice in the reproof, you know better now. Okay? You know better. You know better now. Now you're purposely not following the spirit. Then the rebuke comes. The rebuke is a stiff-ass curse out. Like, what the fuck is you doing? Or it could have consequences that on the latter end, because you didn't understand the reproof and you didn't take the admonition in the exception of the whole situation. So that's why I'm saying it's just good for you. Getting the advice from a brother is just good for you in the spirit. Getting reproved from a brother, it's just good for you. Hey, let's say it too. Getting rebuked, it's just good for you. You see what I'm saying? It's just good for you. Just take it, It's like the reproof and rebuke is like taking a piece of horseradish, It may sting a little bit, but it's good for you. It's good for you. You may get rebuked or told about yourself. Your flesh might throw a little temper tantrum, but your spirit's just looking at your flesh like, there goes this little motherfucker again. Talking at, all right. Okay, you done? All right, let's get your shit together and let's keep it moving then. That's what happens. You know what I'm saying? And the more you get reproved and rebuked, your spirit just continues to take over, and it becomes more understanding, and it becomes easier to swallow, I guess, And a part of Salaki, I'm being long-winded before I get to the scripts, and a part of the swallowing is learning not to overthink it. That's one thing I struggle with. And I'm just being open to you, Akim. Doing these lessons is like writing an epistle. You read Paul's epistles he opened up to the churches. One of my favorite epistles from Paul was the book of Philemon, because you can really see who Paul really was. His person, through 20 some odd verses, that's it. A very short book. You get to realize the kind of person Paul was within those writings, but he expressed himself, so that's all I'm doing here. All right, expressing myself. I'm being open and honest. Sometimes I have an issue with overthinking. Now, I got 3 precepts lined up, but before I do that, there's a book that I read that I, should start following a little bit of this, but it's called Letting Go. It says the path The Pathway of Surrender by David R. Hawkins, MD and PhD. That's the author of the book, David R. Hawkins, author of Letting Go. And then on page 24 in this book, it says, thoughts are like bait to a fish. If we bite at them, we get caught. It's best not to bite at the thoughts. So that's what you call overthinking or being over analytical on yourself. Rome wasn't built in a day, so if you get reproved, don't expect the person. Yeah, I'm gonna say it like that. Don't expect the person to think, especially if it's a person of understanding. Don't expect the person to think you about to change that overnight. The person admonishing, reproving, or rebuking you must have an understanding of things take time to ferment, okay, or to cultivate, or to grow. So of course, with him telling that, of course, there'd be certain things that need to be fixed ASAP, but still takes time. Some things take longer than others. Some things are expected to take shorter than others, which is a fact. So even the person giving the admonishment, the reproof or the rebuke, needs to understand, okay, what I'm reproving you on, I understand it may take you some time. Or what I'm reproving you on, I know you should have been known this by now, so you better fix it immediately. You see what I'm saying? So I'm going to read that again. It says, thoughts are like bait to a fish. So when you're receiving that correction, don't beat yourself up so much. That's all I'm trying to say. Don't beat yourself up so much to where now you're starting to catch demons. You got to peep that. All right? You got to peep that. So it says, thoughts are like the bait to a fish. If we bite at them, we get caught. So you can start getting caught in your own ways. And the art of letting go, which really, this book really tells you to let go of negative feelings and things of that nature. The art of letting go to get rid of negative feelings is to let go of your fucking ego. That's what it is. So if you're overthinking too much about things, it's maybe because you need to check your ego. And like I said, I'm speaking to myself. So this is Ecclesiasticus chapter 20. I'll start at 1, but I really want to get to verse 2. It's just good for you. Verse 1, it says, there is a reproof that is not comely. Again, some man holdeth his tongue, and he is wise. So pretty much seasoned with speech. It's a point in time where it's good to talk about something. It's good to rebuke. It's good to reprove at a point in time. Verse 2 is really what I want to get into. It is much better to reprove than to be angry secretly. And he that confesseth his fault shall be preserved from hurt. So whenever a brother is reproving you, just know he's doing it out of love, because he could be a dick, he could be an asshole, and be going off if he didn't tell you about yourself. When a brother is telling you about yourself, he loves you. He gives a shit about you. Facts. No matter how he says it, how it's coming off, he may be cursing your ass out. He might be like, hey, what the fuck is wrong with you, nigga? He may be talking to you like that. If he is, first off, I want to say, be a man. Don't be so fucking butthurt with how someone is talking to you. This is vulgar language, vulgar speech. When you go into the word vulgar, it just means common. It's common, meaning you can understand it. We're on level ground here. I'm speaking commonly to you, to where you can perceive of what I'm saying. So no matter his tone, the word choice he uses, and things of that nature, he's trying to convey a message to you. Extract the message out of it. Forget about the tone. Forget about the word choice. Whatever about that. It shouldn't affect you if you're a man. Extract what the message is trying to be brought to you so you can understand. You see what I'm saying? So it's much better to reprove than to be angry secretly. Being angry secretly, there henceforth starts the fucking murmuring. That womanish crap. That's what starts happening. So when you're getting reproved, just accept it. Just accept it. Don't get so butthurt, start overthinking about it, or well, he said this, and really this is really what I be doing. Did it? Man, screw that. Screw all of that. There's a reason why the Spirit is telling you this, regardless of what you think is right or wrong. You need to extract it. You need to let it simmer, but don't overthink on it. It's like cooking soup or something, or a stew. Perfect, a stew. Sometimes I've seen certain like a beef stew. I've seen a beef stew cooked. Sometimes you'll cook the beef. The beef won't be all the way through once you like pan sear it. You'll have a nice little crust on it or whatnot, right? And you may take it off, but you're not done with it. So you start adding your carrots and all your beef broth and whatever you need to do to get the stew going. And then you put your beef back in, and then you put the heat on medium or low, and you put the top back on and let it simmer. And while it's simmering, that meat is cooking fully within the inside, but in an amount of time. That's the same thing you need to do with reproof when you get your correction. When you first get that correction, that's that beef that's sizzling. That's the high heat, the intense moment, all right? Whereas that beef or that correction is on a high heat. It's going hard. It's hot, and then you receive it. But once you receive it, put that to the side a little bit and start adding your ingredients. Then put that correction back in that pot and let it simmer within you, but don't overthink it. Just let it simmer. Like the saying, let it marinate. You know what I'm saying? That's what you need to do with the correction and the admonishment and the reproofs and the rebukes that you get. Don't take it personal. It's just good for you. I like that. I like the title of this lesson. It's just good for you. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 19, verse 13. It says, admonish a friend, it may be he hath not done it, and if he have done it, that he do it no more. Verse 14, admonish thy friend, if he hath, it may be he hath not said it, and if he have, that he speak it not again. So admonishment is an advice before an action is taking place. You see what I'm saying? Admonishment is advice, so it advise a friend. It may be he have not done it. So the one who is giving you advice through the Spirit, because it be random. So the Spirit be random. I'm going to keep it a buck. The Spirit flows when it flows, and you got to recognize when it's there. So if the Spirit hits a brother to give you an advice out of the blue, even though it's like, I wasn't even thinking about doing that or thinking about that, maybe later on he's prophesying to you through that advice, because maybe later on down the road you're going to experience this, and then you're going to remember that advice because you let it simmer. Instead, don't be like, well, why the hell are you telling me this, bro? I don't need to know this. Come on now. You see what I'm saying? Extract the message, let it sit. Okay? But don't let your thoughts be the bait. All right? Once you take the bait, that's when Satan comes in and starts making all these scenarios in your mind that just ain't fucking true. It's just not true. Stop. Okay? And if you're an individual who doesn't like reproof, then you're a scorner. You're sitting in the seat of the scorner, which brings me to my next precept. Proverbs chapter 9 and 8. It says, reprove not a scorner, because scorners hate reproof, they hate correction, they hate admonishment, they hate rebuke. You can't tell them shit. So they go on living their life like they think they got it, and they just living wrong as hell. Don't be that guy. Once you get it, yeah, it may hurt initially. You may shed a tear here and there. Because that's just how your flesh reacts. But your spirit is recognizing what's going on. And believe that your spirit is recognizing what's going on. Like I said, that reproof or that rebuke at the moment is the high intensity. It's the heat intensity right there. It's intense. But like I said, on the analogy of the stew, you put it on a lower heat and let it simmer for a long while. And that's what you need to do with the reproof and the understanding that you get from that reproof. Put it on the low heat and let it simmer. Because when you put that pot on the low heat and let it simmer, you get to fucking walk away. It's gonna go for 4 hours. You walk away, do what the hell you gotta do. It's not really on your mind like that. until a situation comes up to where that reproof activates, and now you know what to do because you've been corrected on it already. You see what I'm saying here? You know, I'm only speaking like this because the scriptures tell us to speak like this, using certain not worldly analogies for you to understand. I'm just gonna, hey, this is 1 Corinthians 3:1. It says, "And I, brethren, could not speak unto you as unto spiritual, but as unto carnal, even as unto babes in Hamashiach." And I'm not saying that who I'm speaking to in this lesson are babes, because there's very well possible that elders watch my page. I'm not like trying to say that everybody just a babe and I'm just that dude. But what I'm trying to say is, verse 2, "I have fed you with milk and not with meat, for hitherto you were able to bear it, neither yet now are ye able." You see what I'm saying? So pretty much he was speaking in a carnal manner for you to understand the spiritual. And that's what you call an analogy. You see what I'm saying? You can speak an analogy to whoever, you know what I'm saying, and they'll understand it. That's all I was trying to say. I'm not trying to sit here and say that everybody who watches my lesson is a babe and things. I'm a babe. I've only been in this truth going on 8 or 9 years. I'm still a babe, you know. So I don't know everything, but to an extent, I know how to use analogies to bring forth understanding. I could sharpen up. I could be a little better on it, but from what I know, for the most part, you can understand what I'm saying. You know, so let that reproof simmer, and then it's going, and then you open that lid and turn that heat off at the right time, and that correction is so savory. Like I'm so happy I received that, and I'm so happy that brother loves me enough to even tell me that. Because what? It's just good for you. You see what I'm saying? All right, so Proverbs 9:8, "Reprove not a scorner, lest he hate thee. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love thee." Right? Because a wise man understands that rebuke is going to turn into something super savory later on down the road. You know, so like I said, I'm not going to make this lesson too long. But just let that reproof simmer. Let it simmer. I dare you to try it. You know, and don't take a bite at them thoughts, because that's how you get caught up in yourself. And if you're taking the bites, if you're taking the bait of the thoughts, that means you're egotistical, and you need to work on yourself and check your ego. Again, like I said, I'm talking to myself because that's something I deal with. The word ego simply means I. You being a minister, it's not about you. So get that shit out your mind. Stop being egotistical and start being a servant. So Lord willing, this was edifying. I want to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem HaChakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone to rule and teach well. Peace, love, salutation to the elect 144 First Fruit. Brother Kashquan, until the next time. Shalom, and like always, repent, for Yahushua is coming back sooner than what me and you believe. Shalom.